The ministry investigating themselves said that there was no technical violations.
Welcome back to Moose on the Loose. Today we've got some updates on the NDP Edison Motors situation. Now this goes back a few months. It's actually the biggest video on my channel. So just as a recap here, we've got Chase Barber, the guy who started Edison Motors here. This guy here. So basically he started this company because he ordered an electric semi-truck and from Tesla. And Tesla took forever to get these things out, and they're still not out. So he decided, you know what, I'm gonna name it Edison Motors, is kind of tongue-in-cheek, little cheeky there, and make his own electric logging truck to compete. Now, this isn't a fully electric logging truck, I should say, it's a hybrid. So it uses electricity on the downhills with the heavy load of all the logs to generate power, and then it uses diesel to drive up the mountains to get the logs. So it's pretty smart design. First he started by retrofitting these trucks with just off-the-shelf parts, and now they're developing more and more vehicles. I think they have multiple ones. They're doing a truck and some other stuff too, like a small military kind of old truck. They primarily focus though on logging trucks. You can see here, it works. It drives, they're registered, they're road legal. So basically what happened is this is the only company I think in North America that is developing these hybrid diesel electric logging trucks, period. In North America, definitely in Canada. So you'd think they would be the ones who would get grants for these green EV programs. I believe they're located in Merritt, BC, and being a BC resident, they should be eligible to get money from the Clean BC program. This is a program that gives out money, or supposed to give out money to green energy, green projects in BC. So they applied for a grant and they were denied. And then when they applied to a company called MNP. MNP turned them down and said, no, you're not, you don't qualify. So later, I don't know, it was a couple weeks or a couple months later, MNP sends him an email and says, hey, I think you'd qualify for a grant. If we write the grant for you, would take 20%, we can almost guarantee you'll get the grant. So you might be thinking, wait a second, MNP sent him an email? Yeah, so MNP is telling him they want to write the grant for him so then they can approve the grant that they wrote. They basically want to scoop 20% of his grant. It's a money laundering scheme. It's a scam. It's absolutely ridiculous. So he brought this up. He went into Parliament, just happened to be for a convention. Clean BC was holding some sort of convention or something. When he was in Parliament, he talked to Josie Osborne about this situation, saying, hey, Josie, what's going on here? Soon afterwards, Chase Barber, the guy who runs Edison Motors, this company here, was then uninvited to the Clean BC program. And Josie won't, you know, it's kind of like, she's gone ghost. She's gone, she won't tell him why. Sorry, things have changed. So it seems Chase Barber here has stumbled upon what's really going on. It's a big money laundering. It's a scam. It's whatever, MNP scooping money, taxpayers' dollars out of that Clean BC program to fund themselves. Now, I don't know if it's the owner of MNP, if it's just someone lower down that's scooping these commissions for easy money. I don't know. So we've got an update, multiple updates here from Chase on the situation and what's going on here.
Okay, I want to give a little update on the government of BC and MNP conflict of interest scandal we've been involved in. The government of BC ordered an investigation into the program, which sounds great, but the minister said the investigation will focus on whether MNP followed the rules. I'm not saying MNP didn't follow the rules. I'm saying that the government wrote the rules in a way that allowed such a massive conflict of interest to occur. And I'm not even saying that MNP directly said that they were going to write grants for us for the programs they administer, because I just don't have enough information about what's going on behind the scenes in the program. But why don't we look at MNP's own website so it's in their own words? If you do business here, you've undoubtedly heard about the initiative. MNP tells everybody that they administer these programs on behalf of the BC government. For how to apply, reach out to MNP. In my opinion, if they were telling people that they weren't applying for programs they also administer, they'd have a big disclaimer here. Not telling them how to apply to the programs is to email them. To me, that appeared to be a conflict of interest. I just don't know whether it's against the rules or not.
Now, they might have some loopholes in there that they're taking advantage of, thus it's not illegal, or maybe it's just highly illegal. Either way, it's morally wrong, taking our money for their own benefit. Chase here applied for a grant, they turned him down, and then they said, hey, maybe you should try again with us, though. That is so ridiculous. There's hardly any companies that are even trying to do what this guy's doing, and they turn him down, but they only want to approve the grant if they get the money, the 20% cut. It's jail time for some of these people in government.
Here's the thing with the government grant controversy. I am not saying that MNP did anything illegal. Hell, they probably did nothing illegal in this whole thing. It's probably fully legal for a company to decide who gets government money, also be a company that applies for companies to get government money. If you read the paper I referenced, the ministry investigating themselves said that there was no technical violations. Our big issue is that this company was able to turn down our grant, then turn around and say, hey, I think you're going to have a lot better chance of getting all your future grants if you hire us to represent you. You shouldn't be allowed to turn down government grants and then use that as leverage to get companies to sign up for your high fees. If you're deciding who gets government money, you can be biased towards clients that hire you for their services. We shouldn't be going after the company, we should be going after the government for allowing these kind of things to happen. I think the big issue here is that it shows that all this money they're collecting in carbon tax isn't going to local innovative companies, it's going to those who play the political game.
That's just it. It's going political games. But clearly there's someone in MNP, whether that's Josie Osborne or whoever, that's working with someone in MNP to funnel this money and basically launder it right into their pockets. This is a scam. This is corruption. This is a waste of our money. And considering in BC here, we don't get a rebate from the carbon tax. We pay carbon tax, we get nothing, and then they're just flushing in their own pockets. This pisses me off.
I don't know why the government isn't investigating the potential corruption. There's clear evidence. I'm not the only one. I may have been one of the first ones to bring this forward, but I'm not alone. Please go read Rob Shaw's article. He does a fantastic job. It says in here, Edison Motors is not the only company upset. Todd Stone said that they've had other examples brought forward by other individuals. The Conservative Party leader, John Rustad, says that he's received evidence from numerous companies about this program. We've had a few people in the comment section of our videos saying that MNP tried to do the same thing with them. I can't believe that the NDP government voted to block an investigation into this.
I mean, just looking at this comment here, it says, I own a couple businesses in Saskatchewan and employ MNP. They tried to pitch me this as well. No such thing as free money. There's always a catch. Like you, I wasn't comfortable with the process. Seemed like a money grab, morally wrong. Glad I declined. Keep up the good work. I mean, this is happening in multiple companies here. This MNP thing is a big government-tied scandal. This is just corruption in our government. Our money being just flushed to these people. Whoever it is, someone in the middle, someone at the top, who knows?
I can't believe that the NDP government voted to block an investigation into this. If there was really nothing going on, wouldn't you want an investigation to prove that everything was good and everything was... If I was in charge of spending hundreds of millions of dollars of taxpayer money, I would absolutely want somebody to investigate it. I would want to know without a doubt that the companies I hired to spend the money are spending it correctly. Like, I would want that. It's so strange that they blocked an investigation.
It's not strange if they're involved in the crime. That's something to think about. That's the only thing that makes logical sense here. Who in the government is involved in this?
The opposition party United, Conservatives, and Greens both came together to say that, yes, we've looked at it, this is warranted an investigation.
Yeas and nays. There's 2/3 of the people said, no, we don't want an investigation into this corruption, NDP corruption. They voted against it. It's basically all the NDP voted no, and everyone else voted yes.
It's one kickback scheme to another with this government, Mr. Speaker. So let's look at what's happened with the 23% increase in carbon tax and how this government is spending those carbon tax funds. Hundreds of millions of taxpayers' dollars through carbon tax is going into the Clean BC Go Electric program. A subset of that program, the ARC program, is now under fire for a kickback scheme. The NDP appointed consultants overseeing the grant approvals are demanding a 20% success fee from applicants for advisory services. These are the same people that actually decide who actually gets the money. Companies that reject the unethical demands are finding that their applications are rejected with strong encouragement to reapply through the adjudicators for the success fee attached.
Mr. Speaker, this is something that British Columbians have said over and over that they want to do, and they're showing us that by their actions. They're making the switch to electric heat pumps to heat their homes, more comfortable heating, lower pollution. They're making the switch in their vehicles. But Mr. Speaker, we know it's not just light duty vehicles where we need to see these changes. It's in medium and heavy duty spaces, and we're seeing the transition in trucking, for example, looking at the excellent hydrogen technologies that are being developed here in British Columbia so that we can make these changes. Mr. Speaker, a very important part of this technology development, of course, is supporting companies, innovators here in British Columbia in the work that they're doing to bring these technologies alive, to be able to prove them, to pilot them, to scale them up, and to commercialize them. Because, Mr. Speaker, it's this work that we do together that's going to see the transition from fossil fuels into clean electricity. It's a transition our government is fully behind, and we won't stop.
I want to explain why we came forward with this conflict of interest issue, why we brought our concerns to the government, because really, it doesn't make sense for us to do so, at least not financially. Financially, we would be a lot better off if once we found out how the system works, go along with the system, get that grant money, put that money into our pockets and just keep growing the business with it. But it didn't feel right. We didn't start Edison Motors because we were trying to make ourselves rich. We started it because we were tired of the way things were going, tired of planned obsolescence. We wanted to fight for right to repair, and we wanted to show that we could do it as a small guy, build a truck, and compete against the big ones to fight to make a difference. I'm not going to turn my back on everything I believe in just because the cash is on the table. I'm not going to grab that taxpayer money and use it to make myself better off when I could use my voice to help everybody else. Because once we started this, we realized just how broken the system is for small businesses. If I can use my voice to help everybody else starting that may not have social media, that's what I'm going to do.
It's a good guy, good on his heart. He's really in it for Canadians and bettering our country. We need more patriots like this guy.
I don't think we need government grants. We have proved that you can do innovation without government grants. If it really is a good idea that's well thought out, that people can execute on, they can do it without the government money. We proved you could do it without government grants. We built the world's first plug-in hybrid semi-truck, all without any government money. The reason why we have to apply for government grants is that these government grants put us at a comparative disadvantage in the market. If your business doesn't get one of these government grants, then you're competing against companies that's being subsidized by it. It doesn't put people on a level playing field. So right now, the government's collecting all this carbon tax money. They're putting it towards clean energy innovation. But the thing is, the government or the companies the government hire are deciding the winners and the losers in this. And they say it's supporting local innovation, but what we see is that most of this time, these grants are going to billion-dollar foreign companies outside of the province. We don't need the grants, but if the government is giving them to our competitors, it puts us at a disadvantage.
The next clip I've got here of him talking about this, he basically shows how the government is not only giving out grants, but not to people like him, but giving out grants to Chinese companies and helping fund their projects.
You know, this could be a very valid argument that our government needs to fund our manufacturing sector because China is funding their manufacturing sector. Want to stay competitive? We got to match what they're doing. But this falls apart when you realize that our government is actually funding Chinese companies' manufacturing. Trudeau announced a $1 billion battery plant project. Government of Canada will contribute $205 million, and the government of BC is contributing $80 million. That's $280 million of taxpayer money going to this company. But who is this company? The battery company is E1 Moly. It's going to create 350 jobs. Well, E-Moly 1 is owned by Taiwan Cement Corp. Why is our government giving away $300 million to a Chinese concrete company from Taiwan? How does this deal help Canadians? Well, this happens, we get nothing, and then get to watch our government get up and say this.
Important part of this technology development, of course, is supporting companies, innovators here in British Columbia in the work that they're doing to bring these technologies alive.
This is what I expect from the government. I wonder if they have shares in those companies. Does Trudeau have shares in those companies? I don't know. Does he have a trust that's owned by a corporation that's in a trust that's in a corporation that owns shares in those companies? I don't know. I'd love to know. What about Josie Osborne here? Does she have shares in these companies? Who knows? Something stinks in the government, though. In other news, we've got this clip here. Basically, we've got a whole bunch of Muslims praying in the middle of the street again, blocking, looks like transit lines. I'm not sure why, as the comment here from Concerned Canadian says, there are over 100 mosques in Toronto, yet they believe they can use our streets for prayer blocking access to the city. This is illegal. You're blocking major infrastructure. I don't know why the cops do nothing, unless maybe they're paid off. That's like 60 people. Like, we've got enough cops here. Cuff them, take them down to the station, put them in jail, give them a warning, do whatever, get them off the street here. I mean, look, this is a transit line. You can see the metal rails on the ground here. Is this not, I don't live in Toronto, is that not where the LRT or the transit light rail, the city street light rail goes? Buses, whatever that uses that? Regardless, it's a street. You're not allowed, this is not where we pray, guys. You go to your mosque, go to your church. They're doing this for a reason. What do you think that is? Here we got an old clip, but this one's an absolute beauty. So we've got Jenica Atwin. She is an absolute liberal, like the most liberal of the liberal out there. She follows Trudeau to the end. Recently, she was in that committee with Michelle Ferreri, where she was shutting down that that committee of the women who were attacked by men. She was part of the interrupting committee there from the Liberals. But this one comes from a year ago. Pierre Poilievre absolutely destroys her.
And I wonder if you would like to kind of backtrack or apologize on characterizing the CRTC as a small group of privileged insiders closest to the Prime Minister. And I would also ask him if he would like to define the word woke. I asked one of his colleagues as well for that definition, and I'd like to see what he has to say. Thank you.
Leader of the Opposition.
Actually, I will backtrack. It is a big group of insiders, Madam Speaker. It is a big, sprawling bureaucracy with far too many people working for it. There will be less people working for the CRTC when I'm Prime Minister because they'll have less power and they'll have a hell of a lot less to do when I restore freedom of speech and freedom of expression online and on the internet. And as for the definition of woke, woke has one purpose, only one purpose. Plenty of pretexts, but only one purpose: control. It is designed to divide people by race, by gender, by ethnicity, by religion, by vaccine status, and any other way that they can divide people into groups. Because why? Then you can justify having a government to control all those groups. No more woke. We need freedom.
Wow, great clip, Pierre. That is our next Prime Minister, folks, right there. Pierre Poilievre, absolutely just dishing it here. Great clip. Perfect. Well, yes, well said. How can anyone think Trudeau is a better choice for PM? He can't even speak complete sentences unless given scripted questions. So many examples. Poilievre is an intelligent man. He destroys idiots who try to make him look dumb. Respect for Poilievre. Next up, we got this clip here. It says, they're preparing Subway like they prepare Indian street food. Never eating at Subway again. So basically, we got a guy sitting on a counter here. I'll let you watch. I mean, dude's sitting here pulling the salami apart with his feet quite literally like 2 inches from the meat. That is disgusting. And look how dirty his feet are. Yeah, I think the health inspector is going to be making a stop off here to the Subway. He's not wearing gloves either. So you can see like her hand just went past her. When they prepare these sandwiches, they have gloves on. You can see it's blurred out, but right there, they wear these little plastic gloves to handle the meat and food and stuff. This guy, bare hands right near his feet, no problem. Yeah, I don't think this is going to bode well for Subway. I cannot believe people are still there ordering food. Yeah, watching that. I would not want a foot-long sandwich. Gross. Aren't there health inspectors anymore? Revolting. Now, the question that needs to be asked are the people of BC, like myself, are we going to sit around and do nothing while the government and MMP launder our money and stuff themselves with 20% commissions? Or are we going to do something about it?